The fight you are all here to talk about, the BMF Championship. Jorge Masvidal defeated Nate Diaz via ref stoppage to become the BMF champion. After all the talk of a one-off, all the talk of it won't be defended. Yeah, it will. A doctor stoppage ends it. And quite frankly, a bullshit doctor stoppage at that. Masvidal came after Nate right away, and I love that Nate stepped away, and he's like, no, let's go in the middle. Masvidal drilled Diaz with an elbow and a head kick, and I'm surprised that Diaz could survive that, but he's a tough dude. Say what you want about Diaz, but he's a tough dude. And you got all kinds of angry boxing fans right now, and I love boxing. I've literally got Kovalev versus Canelo on a screen to the left of me while this is happening, while I'm doing this stream. But they're saying, oh, look at their records, look at this, oh my God, I can't believe... Oh my God, this is what's happening? And they're doing that a week before KSI versus Logan Paul blows a lot of their cards out of the water with pay-per-view buys. So, yeah. Boxing and MMA can both be hot. You can both have attractions. You can both have freak shows. You can both have fighters that people are invested in emotionally. That's what this was. People like Nate Diaz and people like Masvidal. The ref stands up Diaz after Masvidal kept him on his back, and it was very clear in the grappling exchanges that Masvidal was a lot stronger in the clinch. He pushed Diaz around at will. Diaz connected with a big right, and they're back into the clinch and met in the middle after Masvidal kind of ran out and reset. But Diaz was able to get another big punch, but he got cut bad in the first round, and that will play into how things end up. Like, it's unfortunate. So Masvidal went to the body often, and it was great. A lot of people expected Masvidal to go to the legs because that's a key to slowing down Diaz and turning him around. You chop away at his lead leg, the outside specifically, sometimes the inside, and he gets hurt. The thing with Diaz, though, is he never stops pressuring. No matter how much you attack with the legs, or you attack his legs, he still presses forward. The body kicks really seemed effective. Really seemed effective. More effective than the leg kicks that we've seen in previous fights of Diaz. Now, here's the thing. Diaz started to throw leg kicks of his own. He went into like a sideways stance, almost like MVP or Machida or Thompson, a more traditional karate kickboxing style at times. And I didn't know what caused that. I don't know if that's because he was trying to protect his body or what that may be, but it's something that I don't see a ton of out of him. They ended up on the ground after a big right that put Diaz down, and Diaz rolled for a leg lock to no avail. Then in round 3, Diaz really, really pressured Masvidal. Really pressured him. Poured it on in the middle of the round, and I thought Masvidal was starting to feel it, but it wasn't out of gas. He started to throw hard, and then after the 3rd round, the New York State Athletic Commission referee, or judge, not referee, damn, easy for me to say, the New York State Athletic Commission doctor stops the fight. Diaz was ready to fight. He was good to fight. I have seen literally hundreds of cuts worse than that and fights not get stopped. Hundreds. All of you have too, probably. You'll probably see some next week. You might see one in a boxing fight as we go through it right now. This was an absolute dog shit doctor stoppage. There were 2 more rounds here, and if a Nate Diaz fight has shown you anything, those 2 rounds really matter. Do I think that Diaz was going to win this? No. Should he have been given the opportunity? Yes. Was he good to go? Yes. And that's why Joe Rogan gets in the cage and he says, let's run this back in Las Vegas, because he doesn't want to deal with New York. Nobody wants to deal with New York. The taxes are too high. The commission's ridiculous. Man. So Masvidal has Roberto Duran in the cage and immediately says, let's run this back. Nate Diaz says, let's run it back as soon as I'm healed up. So if they want to run it back, it'll happen, and it'll happen. They should do it Super Bowl weekend in Vegas, and they should do it in Vegas. Do it again. It's a major fight. This was a great card, and I hate that this is how it ended, because this UFC event kicked ass. The UFC badly needed a show that just was full of stars, full of exciting moments, and had buzz, and this show had that. A lot of times, like, we cover boxing, MMA, pro wrestling. A lot of times it's one or the other or the other. Very rarely do all three work in conjunction where all three are really hot. And let me tell you, after the underwhelming month that was October in pro wrestling, this was the opportunity for the UFC to kind of gather that buzz. I don't know how this finish is going to do it for people. You'll have idiots say, rigged this, rigged that, dumb shit like that. Block them on social media. Block them. Tell them they're dumb. So, Diaz versus Masvidal, there is no other fight to make besides that. I know a lot of people are saying, Conor this, blah, blah, blah. No, this is the fight to make. There's interest in this. However, here's the thing. UFC often avoids the fight that needs to be made. They avoided Masvidal versus Edwards. They avoided Covington versus Usman for a long time. They avoided a lot of that. Hopefully you guys don't avoid FightfulMMA.com. We have a Twitter over at FightfulMMA. You all can follow that. Jeremy Lambert's going to, or probably is right now, doing the post-show presser tweets, and I'll go over there and check those out right now to see how things are going. If the presser's actually happening right now. Yeah, it is. Stephen Thompson's out there. I'll run through that really quickly. Stephen Thompson says that Vicente is the toughest guy he's faced with the hardest head and wants to work his way back up in the rankings. And that's really as far as we got. But we will have the full coverage of that over there. We'll have it on FightfulMMA.com.